Right here, this edge, where the tattoo ends and your skin starts. Most people don't even clock it, but this is where everything gets decided. The shape of the border actually means something, and it's not just one shape. There's multiple, and each one carries a totally different message. And the wild part, most tattoo artists don't even know this stuff. If you already have a Japanese tattoo, stay with me, cause yours might actually be wrong. If you're about to get one, do not move. You need this before you sit in the chair. Konnichiwa, Yoshi desu. Japanese Korean, been doing Irezumi for 16 years, lived in Japan, Korea, and now I'm out here in the States, in Austin. Alright, let's start with what Mikiri actually is. The kanji is Mikiri. Two characters. Mi, that means to see, to look carefully, to observe all the way through. Kiri, that means to cut, to end it, to draw the line. So Mikiri literally means you look, you judge, you cut. Not just cutting, you see it first, then you cut. That distinction matters a lot. So in tattooing, Mikiri is where the background, the gaku, ends and your bare skin begins. Wrist, ankle, chest, neck, wherever the tattoo stops, that's Mikiri, between the skin and tattoo. Now, this word didn't come from tattooing. It comes from architecture. You know how Japanese craftsmanship is on another level when it comes to finished details. In traditional Japanese carpentry, when two different materials meet, like a wooden floor and a wall, a door frame and the ceiling, how you finish the junction, that's Mikiri. And for Japanese craftsmen, that finishing point was everything. Because that's where you can't hide. The junction tells you exactly how skilled the craftsman is. Irezumi artists in the Edo period took that exact some concept and brought it into tattooing. Because think about it, the body is not a flat canvas. It's three-dimensional. It moves. There's muscle and bone underneath. It breathes. A real Irezumi artist isn't just thinking about how it looks right now. They're thinking about how it looks when you put a shirt on, when your arm is flexed, when you are 60 years old. They're looking at me, at all of that, and then they cut Kiri. That's Mikiri. And you've probably seen the rounded kind before. Most people think that's the only type, but no, there's more. 5 main types. One of them is basically extinct. Let's run through all of them. First one, Botan Mikiri. Botan means peony. This is the most common one you will see today. Those soft, rounded, flowing curves at the edge of the tattoo. That's Botan. You see it a lot with the cloud gaku. It moves with the body, follow the muscles, feels organic and natural. You've got Japanese tattoo and the border is soft and curved. That's probably Botan Mikiri. Why peony? In Irezumi, the peony is the king. Bold, unapologetic, but still graceful. The border carries that same energy. Next, Butkiri. Total opposite of Botan. Imagine someone took a katana and just one clean cut straight line. No curves. Hard stop. You see this a lot of wind bar, water bar endings. Real torque. This one has a gender weight to it. Butkiri has masculine energy. Decisive, I don't negotiate kind of vibe. Old school, Edo era, otokomae. Still gets used today on heavier subject matters, oni, dragons, cars. Now compare that to the next one, Akebono Miki. Akebono means dawn. You know that moment right before sunrise when the darkness just fades out. There's no hard lines between night and day. It just dissolves. That's what this Mikiri does. The background fades lighter and lighter toward the skin until there's no border at all. It just disappears. You see this a lot of Cloud Gaku. If Butkiri is masculine, Akebono is feminine. Women historically went for this a lot. Soft, gradual, no hard edges. The tattoo feels like it's part of the skin, rather than sitting on top of it. But there's the thing, this is technically the hardest Mikiri to pull off, that fade. In Japanese, it's called bokashi. Its gradation has to be perfect even, no streaks, no blotches. Akebono is the fastest way to tell a junior artist from a master. You cannot fake a clean Akebono. Matsuba Mikiri. Matsuba means pine leaves. Instead of smooth curves or clean lines, the border is made up of dense, overlapping needle-like stroke, like actual pine needles, carries the symbolism of the pine. Longevity, resilience, endurance. And this one is basically extinct. Most artists never even learned it. Honestly, I don't know it that well either. This one's reading off into the sunset. Last one, Zari Mikiri. Zari means garble. Instead of lines, tiny scattered dots dissolve the border, like garbers or sand sprinkles at the edge. This is a wabi-sabi, as border from the beauty of the imperfection. Think about how a wave ends on a beach. You can't pinpoint exactly where the ocean stops and the sand begins. It just fades out like that. That's Jari Bokashi. These days, it's mostly used as a sporting technique for Wagaku, Iwagaku, texturing soil, earth, ground, 5 borders, 5 different statements, 5 different meanings. Now here's where it gets weird. Your tat might actually be wrong. I don't mean visually. It might look great, but traditionally, energetically, it might be doing exact opposite of what you think. There's a rule in Irezumi, uchimaki. Uchi means inward, maki means a wrap or curl. The Mikiri border, especially on the sleeves, ankles, chest, the same. Anywhere in a wrap around the body has to curve inward, like this way, not like the outside. Yeah, like this. It's curved going the inside and inside like this, not like this. There's a Japanese saying, fuku wa uchi. Luck comes inward. If your Mikiri curves outward, you literally designed your tattoo to push or your luck out. You're throwing your own blessing away. I've seen this done wrong so many times, for real, on expensive tattoos, for artists who charge good money, cover-ups, touch-ups, all of them, uchimaki, wrong. And it happens most when Western artists look at Irezumi reference and just copy the visual. The shape look right, the curves look right, but they don't know which direction the curve has to go. They copying the root, not the rules. And then someone copy that wrong version. Infinite loop of bad Irezumi. And even some Asian same. That's the difference between Japanese style tattoo and the traditional Irezumi. Japanese style, it looks like Irezumi, traditional Irezumi. It follows the rule of Irezumi. If you want traditional, uchimaki is not optional, it's mandatory. You don't want your luck flying out. You know where to find me. Like, subscribe. Alright, Asenuki. This one has a history most people have never heard. You know those triangular gap or bare skin near the armpit? That's not a mistake, not ran out of space. Does it hurt there? Yes, It does, but that's not why either. And it comes from a dark history. The name itself, ase, means sweat. Back in the day, people believed that tattoo skin didn't sweat. That area was left empty. That's where the name came from. But there's another theory that's even more interesting. In the Edo period, criminals got punishment tattoo. I have video. Irezumi K, Boku K. A line burned into the arm. A mark of shame that never went away. Usually banned on upper arm, close to armpit. When tattooing became popular as art, some of those people started covering their punishment mark. But do you prove you weren't cover of a criminal mark? You leave a gap, a triangle of bare skin. I designed it this way because I choose to. That gap was declination of innocence, pride, artistic intention, the beauty of restraint. That's asenuki. Ask your artist, do you know what asenuki is? One question. We will know everything you need to know about them. I always say this, a dragon can hide mistake, Mikiri cannot. Think about it, a dragon has scars, texture, color, shading, movement. A small mistake gets lost in all of that. But Mikiri, it's just a line, or a curve, or a fade. Nowhere to hide. Every rubber shows. Every uneven bokashi shows. Every wrong direction shows. That's why among traditional horishi, Mikiri is considered the real test. The gaku, composition, the bokashi, the Mikiri, that's where actually skill lives. Now, here's something even more Japanese tattoo fans don't know. Back in the day, you could tell which region a horishi was from just by looking at their Mikiri. Kanto style, Tokyo, narrow, precise, small arches, tight curves, restrained. The rep for that, Hiroshi 3 Sensei. You already know. Kansai style, Osaka, bold, wide arches, strong, confidence strokes. Horihiro-san, Horikyo-san, Horigin-san. Same tradition, completely different flavor. That regional divide has blurred now, but the principle still stands. Every master horishi has their own Mikiri flavors, their own curves or values, their own rhythm, whether it's a perfect semicircle, or egg shape, or weighted one side. In Akebono, even where the black transition to light, how wide it spreads. It's a fingerprint. Look at the Mikiri and you know whose work it is. That's their lineage. That's their signature. Okay, here's a tip from me for real. If your chest is wider, Kansai style works better. If you cut the hikae too short above the nipples, it ends up too wide and flat. Though wider beards can honestly pull off both. But if your chest is narrow, Kanto style, no question, Kansai on a narrow chest, just keep going. Longer and longer vertically, the proportions look off. This isn't just tradition, proportion, design logic. Real talk, you wanna know the number one mistake I see out there? Uchimaki wrong and Gaku Bokashi going the opposite direction. Not exaggerating, so many Japanese style tattoo than outside of Japan have this wrong. The client don't know, the tattoo looks fire, the dragon goes hard, the waves are clean, but the border is curling the wrong way. The bokashi is flipped. These artists studies the visual, not the tradition. That's the gap. That's exactly what separates Japanese style from real Irezumi. Hey, if your tattoo is wrong, don't spiral about it. It's a memory. It's a part of your story. Alright, here's what I want you to take from this. Mikiri is the production of human will, the relentless pursuit of completion on the finite canvas of the body. It started in carpentry, traveled through the darkness out punishment tattoos, and eventually became its own independent aesthetic standard. That's the backbone of Irezumi. The elegant curves of Rotan, the decisive line of Mikiri, the dreamlike resolve of Akebono. Every single one of those endings carries the weather's attitude toward life, their respect for the tradition they choose to carry. The real beauty of Irezumi isn't just the dragon or the tiger. It's in how all that scenery, the waves, the clouds, merges into the body, and how reverently it all ends on the skin. That's Mikiri. Getting tattooed, going through the pain, the hours, the commitment. That's a process of the finding yourself through endurance. Through gaman and drawing the Mikiri, setting the boundary is the act of finding order in the chaos, restraint and harmony, the essence of Japanese aesthetics. Mikiri isn't whether the tattoo ends. It's the most dramatic moment where the tattoo meets the body. Next time you look at the Japanese tattoo, yours or anyone else's, don't look at the dragon first. Look at the Mikiri first. That's where the real conversation is happening.
Like, subscribe.
お疲れ様でした。